Thank you for joining us for this look at the best original reporting from KPBS News this week. I'm Maya Trabolsi. Coming up, San Diego taxi drivers launch their own app. They'll tell us how it works and how it will help them keep more of the money they earn. A new home for art that was pulled from San Diego International Airport. We check back with the artist who claims his work was censored and how he's still getting his message out. And the new leadership at San Diego Pride. KPBS talks with the two women who are taking over the region's largest LGBTQ organization. In recent days, some of the pedestrian border crossings have closed due to a lack of staff. Those who travel in cars are also spending more time crossing, and it's not just those heading north. KPBS border reporter Gustavo Solis examines the longer wait times for those going south.
Rush hour at the border is a symphony of honking cars. Gloria was stuck in the middle of it last Thursday afternoon as she headed south to her home in Tijuana. It took her half an hour to drive just 2 blocks.
It's crazy. 2 o'clock on, if you're not in line, you're going to be hours to get across.
Cross-border traffic is not a new phenomenon. For decades, people have waited as long as 3, 4, even 5 hours to cross from Tijuana into San Diego. But now, we're seeing traffic jams in both directions.
Everyone started seeing and noticing 2, maybe 3 hour wait times heading southbound into Mexico, which was completely uncommon.
Joaquin Lucan is the executive director of the Smart Border Coalition. He says the organization started noticing problems about 6 months ago. Southbound border traffic has increased slowly but steadily over the last couple of years, as the housing crunch has forced more people to live in Tijuana and work in San Diego.
The binational workforce keeps growing, and more with the news of San Diego being the most expensive city in the U.S. So that just creates more stress on Tijuana, and that creates more stress on the border crosser and on the borders and on our infrastructure.
It used to be that this kind of traffic was only bad on Fridays, but now it happens every day of the work week. Streetlight Data is a mobility platform that analyzes thousands of data sources to study traffic patterns. They compared southbound border traffic from January through March of 2022 to the same period this year. Streetlight data engineer Jim Hubble says the data show a steady increase.
I would say the rush hour has gone to rush hours, so it's starting earlier and it's ending later.
This kind of traffic can ruin someone's day. Just imagine waiting 3 hours to cross into San Diego, then work an 8-hour shift, and finally wait another 2 hours to go back home to Tijuana.
I mean, so much of your life is lost waiting in the borderline.
Margaret Yoba is the co-owner of the San Diego-based Border Traffic, which developed an app that gives users real-time view of traffic along the border. The company launched with 1 camera in 2010. Now, it has more than 40 cameras and tens of thousands of users, all of them planning their entire schedule around border traffic.
People really depend on our service because it does offer something that you can't get anywhere else. Nobody else has these live video updates.
Northbound border traffic has impacts that go way beyond inconvenience. It costs the San Diego-Tijuana border region billions of dollars in lost productivity each year. The increase in southbound traffic is nowhere near that point, but it's so bad that the president of Mexico had to get involved. During a pre-planned visit to Baja California in November, local reporters asked President Andrés Manuel López Obrador to fix the situation.
Es muy tardado, la gente se enoja, viene cansada.
Reporter Yolanda Morales told the president that people are angry and tired. The president said he'd take care of it. Give me until the end of the year, he said.
Vamos a poner fin de año.
And the situation has improved. Before López Obrador's visit, there would be only 6 southbound lanes at the border crossing. Now, all 20 are open. Lucan says these changes come at a perfect time, right before the holiday shopping season.
We've already been seeing some of the benefits of having all the lanes open, most of the lanes open, heading into Tijuana.
Still, it's not enough. KPBS talked to several commuters on their way to Tijuana in the middle of Thursday's rush hour.
Está feo el tráfico, no sé por qué no agiliza o se hace algo para agilizar el tráfico.
Victoria said she waited 4 hours to cross into San Diego that morning, then waited another hour to get back into Tijuana.
No, pues se pone de mal humor el bebé y ahorita quiere ir al baño.
To make matters worse, her son had to go to the bathroom. Gustavo Solis, KPBS News.
The city of San Diego plans to bring new community parking districts to Kearny Mesa and San Ysidro. The designation could generate money to pay for maintenance and other projects in those neighborhoods. Metro reporter Andrew Bowen explains how it works.
I think when people think of a parking district, they literally think just parking.
I'm standing with City Council member Kent Lee on Convoy Street in Kearny Mesa. It's a wide arterial road filled with car dealerships and strip malls that feature some of the best Asian restaurants in San Diego. Lee says the neighborhood is growing, and the status quo of everyone getting around by car is unsustainable.
It's going to be more important for us to think about how people get around. So, it's everything from things like bus shelters to, if we have bike facilities, crosswalks that are designed to be safer for pedestrians so we're able to get across.
All those improvements need funding, and the new parking district may be able to help. There aren't any immediate plans for parking meters in Kearny Mesa, but Lee's office is talking about them with local businesses as a way to increase turnover in those high-demand parking spots. And a portion of the revenue from parking meters can be reinvested in the neighborhood.
And it just seems natural for an area where folks are looking to travel from a restaurant that they're visiting to a spot for dessert to a place to karaoke at the end of the night. This is sort of that natural place where having different options on how you can get around would be really valuable. And I think at the end of the day, what a parking district will offer us the opportunity to do is to explore all of these options to make this a more friendly space for pedestrians, for those who are traveling here by vehicle, but really also for all the businesses who, enjoy that kind of traffic.
Changes are happening in San Diego's parking districts. The one in Pacific Beach was created in 2005, but only recently did it decide to add meters to the neighborhood. Those meters are helping fund an on-demand shuttle that can take people from the trolley to the beach.
It goes beyond beautification. You're talking about pedestrian safety. You're talking about bicycle safety. And people will not use those modes unless it's safe to do so.
Jerry Trussell is executive director of the Uptown Community Parking District, which includes Bankers Hill, Mission Hills, and Hillcrest. She says the district used to be more focused on increasing the supply of parking. Nowadays, it's also embracing projects that reduce the demand for parking by making streets more walkable and bikeable.
We put in 300 bike racks, trash cans, acorn lighting, some of the traffic calming planters and things of that nature.
Trussell says it used to be a lot harder to get city approval for this kind of spending. Parking districts built up millions of dollars in reserves that the city wouldn't let them spend on the things they wanted. Then Mayor Todd Gloria switched oversight of the parking districts to a new city department.
The mayor has created mobility and sustainability, and that department is very forward-thinking. They're looking at going, okay, we need lights. So street lighting was approved, things of that nature.
I've always made the observation I'd rather talk about taxes than parking because it's a very personal issue. People interface with it on a daily basis.
Mayor Gloria says the city's two new parking districts are a response to neighborhood-level concerns. But just how big will San Diego go on parking meters? Could they be used to fund larger projects like new bus and trolley lines? The city is developing a mobility master plan. It mentions parking districts as a way to help reduce the city's greenhouse gas emissions.
What that means globally for the city going forward, it kind of remains to be seen. My administration wants to empower communities that want to address this issue head on and improve their quality of life and gain those amenities that they think will make their neighborhoods work better.
Convoy's what it is today because, to be frank, for generations, this was not a desired place to be.
Back on Convoy Street, Councilmember Kent Lee says the neighborhood has outgrown its industrial design. It needs a facelift, and when government resources are scarce, a parking district can help pay for upgrades that could otherwise take decades to fund.
It's going to help the many small businesses, a lot of them who are immigrant, culturally really diverse. And then it's really going to help us as a region to be able to share this as a destination, not just for those in San Diego, but for anyone who's visiting.
Andrew Bowen, KPBS News.
Andrew Bowen is one of our guests on the latest episode of KPBS Roundtable. Part of the discussion includes the updated housing plan passed this week by the San Diego City Council. Roundtable airs on KPBS Radio, and you can also stream it at kpbs.org and wherever you get your podcasts. San Diego taxi drivers now have a ride-hailing app, just like Lyft and Uber. You can still call a dispatcher to get a cab, but the United Taxi Workers Union will publicize its app called Ride United at an event on Saturday. KPBS SciTech reporter Thomas Fudge tells us about the app and why some drivers think people should hail a taxi instead of a rideshare.
There are still taxi drivers in San Diego, despite the storm of changes to the industry brought by ride-sharing companies. And now taxis dispatched through United Taxi Workers, they have an app, just like Uber and Lyft.
So starting Saturday, you can go to your Apple App Store, your Google Play Store, and just search for Ride United. And you'll see Ride United Passenger. So you can just click download just like you would any other app.
UC San Diego communication professor Lily Irani used to work for Google, and she helped design Ride United with input from UTW drivers. You don't actually have to wait for Saturday. It's already downloadable.
It'll auto-load the address of where you are, but just check that and make sure it's correct, and then you can drop in where you want to go to.
The taxi business in San Diego has gone through many changes and turmoil, and not just because of the competition from rideshare. Prior to 2014, there was a cap on taxi permits, which created a black market where the permits, also called medallions, were trading for $160,000 each. United Taxi Workers founder and director Mikhail Hussein says their drivers today are self-employed, and there's no longer a cap on how many drivers can work in the business.
We are called independent contractors. So we all like that. We are now self-employed because when we get the permit, now I'm self-employed, given by the city permit. I pay about, it used to be $3,000, now it's $1,600 to get permit.
Irani says joining the ranks of companies that have ride-hailing apps simply reflects the way customers get rides nowadays. People don't expect to have to call a dispatcher on the phone.
None of those mechanisms really get to how people have developed habits of getting rides, which is about pulling out your phone and just looking to see, getting a ride estimate. So that's what we're trying to provide.
San Diego taxi drivers promote themselves, saying their business is regulated locally, not statewide like ride shares, and there's no surge pricing during rush hour. Also, the vast majority of the fares a company pays goes to the driver, 94%, according to Hussein.
There's 6% technology fee approved by the city, and that's all we are charging right now.
Taxi and rideshare revenue is complicated, depending on tips, fees, and volume of rides. But Uber's take rate, the percentage the company takes from each ride, is much higher, 29%, as seen in a quarterly report this year. With regulation and insurance costs, there's plenty to complain about in the taxi business. But driver Abebe Ancalo says the control he has over his business and his influence on the app is what's kept him driving a taxi.
I grew up with this company. I am one of the guy who started this. So that is my choice. Freedom, self-independent, work for myself. That's why I'm here.
Thomas Fudge, KPBS News.
The story that we had earlier on cross-border traffic times is one of our most popular this week. Here are some of the others. Camp Pendleton Marines are investigating an accident that killed one of its own when a tactical vehicle rolled over during training. The San Diego City Council gives approval to an updated housing action package that would boost high-density neighborhoods. And a perfect story for the holidays. KPBS went to Valley Center to see the former home of Betty Crocker. 9 months after a public art piece was removed from the San Diego International Airport for being too woke, the work is resurfacing, and this time it's at a nonprofit art gallery in Logan Heights. Amitha Sharma has a look at the new and expanded exhibit.
So this is going to be like a handout at the show. Still going to figure out how it's going to be displayed, but
designing a detail as simple as a display is thrilling for artist Evan Apodaca as he installs his work at the Athenaeum Art Center in Logan Heights. Its debut there tomorrow caps a bumpy journey. In March, San Diego International Airport officials unceremoniously stripped the wall near Gate 48 of Apodaca's public art video piece, critical of San Diego's military presence after an onlooker called it woke BS.
that person's comments went all the way up to the chain of command in the airport, which directly caused the removal of the artwork.
The artwork is named Monumental Interventions. It expresses opposition to the local military-industrial complex and its role in world conflicts through the mouths of beheaded statues of well-known figures. The severed heads are computer animated and speaking the words of San Diego residents. A statue of former British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher asks this:
do we want to continue to create an economy that believes in death and destruction?
Just weeks before the airport slammed the door on the piece, Apodaca says the Athenaeum opened theirs to showing the work at its center. Executive Director Christy Mitchell declined an interview, but in a statement, she said the center was interested in offering Apodaca a solo show because of his hyper-focus on issues affecting Southeast San Diego. Mitchell added, quote, "His video works are the result of years of research and thinking, and we are excited to be making them available to our audiences and to provide a space for various perspectives." Apodaca says the Athenaeum's invitation has renewed his excitement about the project he started in 2017.
It's not easy to enjoy sometimes because the subject matter is so intense. It's about violence, you know? And so the fact that someone wanted to support it and wanted to support me in getting these ideas out there it just felt like a dream come true.
Elizabeth Larison of the National Coalition Against Censorship has called the removal of Apodaca's work from the airport censorship. She says the advantage to showing artwork in non-governmental spaces like galleries and museums is they may be more receptive to contentious ideas.
Particularly if it goes with their brand or their mission or the artistic tastes and expectations of, say, like their clients and their audiences. They may be less concerned with controversy.
And while it may seem like Apodaca's art might get fewer eyeballs at a gallery instead of an international airport, Larison says suppressed work, any kind, draws even more interest. That's what happened when singer Barbra Streisand tried to get the California Coastal Commission to get rid of a photograph of her Malibu home taken to document erosion.
I think in the case of some artists, when they are censored, there's something called the Streisand effect, which takes place, which means that the attention brought by the censorship act itself can help artists show with other places.
Apodaca expanded Monumental Interventions to include a segment on the grave environmental effects of the nearby Navy base and shipyards on Barrio Logan, considered one of the most polluted communities in California.
The communities that are adjacent to these shipyards that lost their access to the ocean when these shipyards were created are communities that have the highest pollutants, highest rates of asthma and other diseases among the population.
Apodaca has also added pieces to the exhibit. One highlights San Diego's anti-war movement in the 1960s and 70s. Another is a tapestry of headlines documenting the Red Scare in the early years of the Cold War. And he has created a map depicting San Diego's defense contractors, what they produce, and where they sell their weaponry.
We know it's a military town. But we don't know the exact violence that is inflicted. And when you see these specifics, the specifics of the violence, those are things that individuals in San Diego don't know much about.
But he adds, those are the very things we need to know. Amita Sharma, KPBS News.
San Diego Pride is wrapping up the year with new leadership and some uncertainty for the future of the organization. Public input was given in a town hall meeting this week. MG Perez spoke with two interim executive directors leading the transition.
I believe
Serafina Scapiccio and Jen LaBarbera have been asked many times in the past couple of weeks why they agreed to lead San Diego Pride temporarily and together.
To immediately support the staff and volunteers. My yes came in part from feeling a responsibility and an obligation to my colleagues and the staff here.
It's a significant responsibility that goes well beyond the annual San Diego Pride Parade and Festival in July. The organization has 22 employees and a database of more than 2,800 volunteers. Next year marks the 10th anniversary of the Pride She-Fest event. It's also the 30th anniversary of Pride's nonprofit incorporation and the 50th anniversary of the first San Diego Pride March.
With the dual leadership and moving into that for this interim period, I think is really going to set us up really well to do right by all of those anniversaries, to do right by our community that wants to see us both celebrate them and also fight for them.
Serafina has been Pride's Director of Philanthropy and Operations and Finance. Jen is the first Director of Education and Advocacy. They replaced Fernando Lopez, who was let go 3 weeks ago in what was called an amicable split with the Board of Directors, now looking for a permanent replacement.
I think the most important thing is someone that can come in and not only drive continuity, because we have so many great programs and services that we're already offering, but then also build upon that.
The change in San Diego Pride leadership came suddenly and unexpectedly to many people in the community. It also came with lots of questions and concerns for what comes next. Here's a sample of the public comments from a town hall meeting Monday night.
Did you know that firm would be leaving? Why did we opt for the dual leadership role in transition? Why have many Pride employees left in such a short period of time?
People wanted assurance last night that the programs they love are not going away, our community grants programs aren't going away, that Pride will continue to be an advocate for community issues, and I hope that we gave them that reassurance.
And both have also been asked many times in the past couple of weeks, do they want the permanent position?
I did step up temporarily just to get us through.
My intention is to just do this interim piece and then go back to my education and advocacy world.
And that is the last word for now. MG Perez, KPBS News.
For the past 15 years, Queen Bee's in North Park has served as a lively community space for local artists. It's celebrating its anniversary this month, and KPBS arts reporter Beth Accomando tells us more about its history.
Hi everybody, this is Queen Bee's. Come in, welcome. Let me give you a tour of the venue.
For 15 years, Alma Rodriguez has been overseeing the 8,000 square foot hive of Queen Bee's Arts and Cultural Center in North Park.
And this is where magic takes place sometimes, quinceañeras, weddings, concerts, comedy, open mics, poetry, you name it.
Plus salsa, swing, metal swap meets, and even a classroom to teach pole dancing. Rodriguez also points out the venue's battle scars from numerous punk concerts.
My scratches in my floor because of the mosh pits.
But even that's cause for celebration.
I think my vision for the location was basically be the hub of art and culture and provide people with a unique space to create new events and promote art and music and dance and everything that makes people happy.
Even if what makes an artist happy might cause controversy, like a black mass performance art show from almost 10 years ago.
When people bring me an idea or a proposal to say, I'm doing this is a place for expression. This is a place for art. As long as it's in the guidelines that and the policies, everybody has the opportunity to express themselves. Nobody judges anybody inside this facility. The way I see it is like, come in, experience, and then be yourself. And if you want to create, this is the place to create.
Right now, Rodriguez is creating a party to celebrate Queen Bee's 15 years as a supporter of the arts.
And it's just going to be a party for the community, to everybody to know that Queen Bee's is here.
Rodriguez is busy preparing for next Tuesday's party.
I'm a Queen Bee. I have to wear so many hats and keep the hive alive.
She's eager to show how she's transformed a 99-cent store with multiple building violations into a vibrant art space.
Basically, I came in a perfect time. economy was pretty much crushed, and there was a lot of abandoned places and buildings, and it was a kind of a challenging times. The transformation was incredible because it took years. It didn't happen overnight.
She'll be celebrating not just the birth of Queen Bee's, but also the life of Alan Hitch, the late owner of the building.
He was a very amazing person to support the arts and help me throughout the pandemic, and to just say, hey, you do what you can, and then when we go through this, we all in this together.
Alan died earlier this year, and Rodriguez is now trying to buy the building to secure Queen Bee's future. A portrait of her as Napoleon indicates her level of determination.
Interpretation of Napoleon right there, because my father named me Napoleon as a short and wanted to take over the world.
But another portrait of her taps into the joyous spirit of the upcoming party.
The Grand Marshal of the parade of great artists and musicians and dreamers and everything that takes place in Queen Bee's.
The donation-based community event kicks off at noon on Tuesday and will celebrate this buzzing hive of creativity and its very busy and passionate Queen Bee. Beth Accomando, KPBS News.
And one way to follow KPBS and all of our content is on YouTube. Subscribe and get notifications when new content is posted. And that includes original shows like Ken Kramer's About San Diego. We also live stream KPBS Evening Edition on YouTube weeknights at 5. We hope that you enjoyed this look at KPBS News this week. I'm Maya Trabulsi. Thanks for joining us.